Good afternoon and welcome to, excuse me, another episode, frog in my throat, of 5 Questions Over Coffee. I'm here today with Tai Goodwin. She's CEO of that marketing team. She's really going to talk to us about how she's going to help us to generate more leads and make more sales. Welcome to the podcast, Tai.
Hey, Stuart. I'm so glad to be here. Now, I hope it's okay that I don't actually drink coffee.
That's fine. I've been drinking enough for both of us, Tai.
Okay.
And I think I've finished 6 so far. So that's
Oh my
probably
goodness.
more than enough. So Tai, let's just understand a little bit now. How exactly do you help your customers to generate those more leads? What is the ideal customer that you're looking to help? You said small businesses. Define small business for me.
Yeah, we work with a lot of small businesses who are doing, $2.5 million and above in their business. And they don't have the real budget to bring on a full-blown marketing manager or CMO, chief marketing officer, but they also really don't have time to do it themselves. So one of our taglines, Stuart, is no time, no tech, no team, no problem. They struggle with putting the people in place. They don't have the tools in place, and we can help them with that.
So what is it that they've been doing until you get involved that you know that it's been a mistake that you're helping them to solve?
A lot of my clients have been focused only on referral marketing or word of mouth, right? And so because, that's great until it's not great, right? When the referrals dry up and then you don't have any leads coming in, what do? How do you find your next clients? And that makes it really hard for them to scale beyond where they are. And so we are able to come in and show them how to put an automated marketing system in place that generates leads for them on autopilot and actually kind of creates demand for their business without them having to have a referral or word of mouth.
I love automated systems. I spend half of my life talking to people. In fact, I was in a conversation this morning about the fact that he didn't have an automated system in order to sort of take the leads he had through a sort of sales process and make it automated. I always say, once you've got somebody in the funnel, you need to make it impossible for them to crawl back up the funnel. You've got to gently educate them until they eventually become a customer, whether they really want to or not, because that's what we put these funnels in place for. So I know you've got you've got some great offers on your website and things like that. There's one in particular I'm hoping you're going to sort of talk to us about, and that's the leads workshop.
Yeah, the leads workshop is we do it every week. And in that leads workshop, I'm sharing the 5 things that we use to automate marketing for our customers, because it's not just about getting the leads in. There's ways to automate qualifying people. There's ways to automate your sales and delivery. So all of those things can be automated, and it saves our customers time. It helps them make more money because now nobody's slipping through the cracks.
That's a really great. So how do you talk to us about some of those tools that you use at that without giving away too many of what I'm sure you're going to talk about, but just tell us a little bit about that.
Well, one of the things that we've used for a lot of local businesses is a quiz. We just built a quiz for an insurance person who, wanted a way to bring in more leads. And it was a simple quiz that can attract people because it's not intrusive. It's kind of fun, right? But people will give you more information and data. And when you have something like a quiz, as opposed to just a traditional PDF download or, a webinar, you're going to get more data that you can use to do a better job with your marketing. And people are like, a quiz? Well, how does that work? Are you talking about the Harry Potter, what kind of Harry Potter character are you quiz? We're talking about things that are a little bit more technical than that and a little bit more specific than that, but it's still a quiz that asks people questions that helps them pinpoint what their real pain is and how you can specifically solve it.
I love the idea, Tai. Tell me, is there a particular book or program that really sort of helped you to hone the way in which you work with your customers?
Oh, wow. There's so many, Stuart. One of the ones that really helped me most recently is the $100 million offer. And you probably have heard folks talking about that. And, it's one of those things where it's got some really great points in it. We don't take everything in it very literally, but it's got some really great points specifically around. And this is just what I picked up from it, because there's a lot of people talking about the book right now. But it really helped me focus on what my customer wants instead of what I think I should offer them. And that was the linchpin for me, because so many of us, like, when we come into businesses, we've got these skills. We want to use our skills. We want to do this. We want to do that. And we don't really take the time to actually figure out what is it that's going to solve the customer's problem fastest. And
I
that was a
love
danger.
I love it. I love it. It's so interesting because I was having a customer meeting this morning with somebody, and they were talking about how they were wanting to set up a new business and set up agents in different countries. They've got a very international business. And I said, so what is it? They were talking a lot about how this would help them to sort of, accelerate their sales. And I said, so what is it that will attract those agents to become your agent in that locality? And they looked at me as if to say, why have you started speaking a completely different language? And I sort of said, well, you want to attract these people to become your local office, effectively a sort of, an outshoot of your business. You're going to give them your branding and all that good stuff, but what's in it for them? And they kept looking at me and saying, but I don't understand. This is going to help me accelerate my sales, and they will make money. And I went, yeah, but that's not what will attract them to become your office. What is it that you are doing to solve their pain or their problem? They went, oh, these people want to do such and such. I'm like, okay, that's what I've been asking for the last 5 minutes. And they went, oh, I see. And it was one of those moments where you sort of you've got to get somebody out of there. Sort of, what is it that I'm trying to do to what is it that my customer wants from me in order to get them to understand how to sort of make that sort of leap, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. And it's amazing because people forget that all the time. I'll ask people, I said, well, have you talked to the people that you want to serve? What? I can do that? Or what? I need to talk to them? Well, yeah, it's their money that they're going to invest. It's their energy. It's their trust. It's their time. So it amazes me when I run into people that have never asked the audience they intend to sell to, what is it that they really need and why do they really need it?
Yeah, it's interesting. I spend a lot of my time with companies that are trying to innovate, and they very, very rarely do I sort of, there are two types of innovation, one of which is very much incremental, and the other one is what I call sort of recombinant, which is where ideas come back together. And it's often the customer that produces that recombinant idea. It's something which is completely out there. It's sort of something they've not considered, but the customers think about it because they've got a different view on it. And I often say that the greatest source of innovation is your customers. And the one thing that I've had said to me more often than not is, why would our customers want to be the source of innovation? They don't know what they're doing. And I'm saying, well, do you know something? Your customers actually know better than you what it is you're trying to do for them. And if you ask them occasionally, if you just reached out and told them, I'd like your input, they might actually tell you more things than you could help them to solve in terms of pain points in their problem, in their business.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not that they don't know, it's that they might not put it in the same phrase. So it takes a really smart entrepreneur, really savvy entrepreneur to learn what questions to ask so that you get the right data. It's like, and this is going to sound like this is going to connect for those of you that have parents. If you're a parent of like a 5 or 6 year old, there's some things you can't come out and directly ask the 5 or 6 year old. But if you ask them questions around it, you'll get to the answer. And that's kind of what you have to do as an entrepreneur. And when you learn how to ask those questions, which is how we tie back into the quiz marketing that we do, it's learning how to ask the right questions so you get the right data so that you're making better decisions with your marketing and a better investment of your time and money.
I love that. I love that. A phrase I actually read even this morning because I was, it's one thing I try and remind myself is the better the decision you make, the better business you build. And you've really got to ask the right questions to make a really smart decision to build a really great business.
Yeah, that's
Love it.
good. And good.
Tai, listen, I've been asking you some questions for the last 10 minutes or so, and there must be one question that you're currently thinking, why doesn't he ask me this? It's so obvious. I don't understand why he hasn't bothered to ask me. So I'm now going to get you to ask that question. And of course, as soon as you've asked that question, you need to answer it because I'm not going to be able to know the answer to that one. So what's the question I should have asked you that I haven't?
Oh, goodness. Well, one of the questions that's really coming up right now has to do with like Chat GPT and AI. And a lot of people are flocking to it because they're like, I'm going to fire my copywriter and I'm going to be able to do all this myself. And I wrote this the other day. Well, let me give you the question first. The question is, what's the best way to use AI technology for my business, right? Especially when it comes to marketing. And that's such an important question right now, like I said, because a lot of people are flocking to it and they're thinking, well, I'm just going to get it to do this. You can write as many chat GPT prompts. And for those of you who are new to that, it's an AI, artificial intelligence, which is not always artificially intelligent technology that people are using. And you can put questions in and it'll give you a great amount of data. It'll give you great responses. Sometimes you have to, go through and filter them and make sure they're correct. But a lot of people are using that to try to write copy and to get prompts for social media and to get website copy. And that's great. But here's the thing. No matter how many prompts you write, if you don't have a clear audience, offer, or messaging, none of your prompts are going to matter. It all comes back to this strategy. And that's with anything. That's the biggest mistake that I see people make, is that they're running after tools, or what we call throwing spaghetti at the wall, hoping something sticks. This week, I'm going to try TikTok. Next week, somebody said I should use YouTube, so I'm going to try YouTube ads. Then next week, and you're just throwing things at the wall. And so you're never getting enough data to really know what's working or why it's working. And if you don't understand why it's working, you cannot replicate it.
Yeah, great stuff. Great stuff. I have a scientific background, and I know that the one thing you need to be able to do is have enough information behind you to be able to replicate something that's been successful, because
Yeah.
it's those one-offs that were really successful. And then you go, I kind of want to know what it is I did so I can do it again. And I just don't know. That's the problems that you have, where people go, I think I did such and such, and it doesn't work. And you're scrabbling around, and that blows you off course, doesn't it? It leaves you, it's all very, people say, I don't need a plan because plans never work. And I often say, no, what you forget is a plan helps you to know whether or not you want to be able to do that again. And it doesn't matter if a plan ends up being you being blown off a plan. You know how far off plan you are. So without that guiding strategy, without that thing that sort of says, I know what it is I'm trying to do, you're absolutely right. People find themselves adrift, and that's a really great message. I worry a lot about people who are now leaping into ChatGPT. ChatGPT is just a great big load of words all put together, and it just predicts the next best word. It doesn't mean it has any form of intelligence. It's not intelligent. It just predicts the next possible word with a likelihood of success. I put some words into ChatGPT the other day in order to sort of demonstrate to somebody how it would write their marketing topic. It wrote an entire paragraph of about 250 words without a sentence stop, without any sort of formatting. And I looked at it and went, would you like that to become that automated post that you put out on a regular basis?
Right.
And they looked at it and they went, no, that's horrible. And I said, but that's what you were proposing. And too many people are just going, it's easy, but it will blow away any hope that your customers have got of looking at you as an intelligent human being, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's like, I think it's like when people, and I've never experienced this, but I've watched TV. I think it's like when people get hooked on drugs, you get that high from, oh, this worked on Chat GPT one time, or this worked on TikTok and it went viral. And then you're always trying to chase that same result, but you're never getting it. And it's interesting. Like, I can't wait. Like, we're in this first, wave of people kind of just getting into this whole Chat GPT. And it's going to be really interesting to see what has actually worked that's been implemented. Like, it's one thing for people to be able to create stuff from it, and that's fun and that's exciting, but I want to see what the results are when people actually implement the content and the data and the responses that they're getting. That's what we need to be taking a look at.
Brilliant. Tai, it's been a real pleasure having you come on and talk to us about some of this stuff today. Thank you so much for doing it. I'm just gonna remind everybody that if you would like to get onto the newsletter mailing list, I send out an email pretty much every Monday morning talking about who's going to be coming onto the podcast on Tuesday, so that you can see the sort of wisdom that we're hoping to bring to you, and the free advice, stuff like Tai's been giving us today. So go to this link, which is https://link.thecompleteapproach.co.uk/newsletter. So that's link the complete approach, or one word, co.uk/newsletter. Come on to that. Get that newsletter every week so that you can see some of the brilliant people we've got coming up in the future. Tai, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on today. Thank you so much for spending a few minutes with us. Really appreciate you giving us some of that wisdom about how to go about making your leads more automated. It's brilliant stuff. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thanks, Stuart. It's been a pleasure.